relieving is done to reduce the stress or relieve the stress. The stress that is developed or impaired in a metal or metal pieces by these operations may be one of these operations, that is plastic deformation process such as machining or grinding, non-uniform cooling of a piece, that means one part is cooled to a lower temperature than the other part like this, or the transformation, that is you have studied the phase diagram of iron, and in that case of phase transformation, these type of residual stresses may be imparted to the metal or the metal piece. Okay, and the result of stress developed in the metal is this, that is distortion and warpage. That means the bending of the metal piece in some of its part, or distortion maybe happen to the metal piece due to the development of residual stress. And to reduce or to relieve this internal developed stress, we may use this stress relieving annealing heat treatment. And the process of this heat treatment or annealing heat treatment is that the piece is heated to the recommended temperature. Obviously you have to choose some temperature to which the metal piece is heated, and then you have to retain that metal at that temperature for a long time, and then finally you have to cool it to room temperature, and this cooling is air cooling. In some of the cases, some of the heat treatment processes you may studied, you may have to use the cooling process of furnace cooling or some other process of cooling, but in this case you have to use the air cooling method to cool the metal piece or the machinery parts. Okay, now this is the actually I think I can bold it, the total process of stress relieving heat treatment. And there are three steps. One of that is to heat these metal parts to some recommended temperature, then that part is held at that temperature for some speculated time, and then you have to cool it to the room temperature by air cooling. And the annealing temperature is typically relatively lower than the other heat treatment processes, so that the effects of other heat treatment processes or cold work processes cannot be affected by this heat treatment process. Okay, and now you may have this question, that's what is cold working. And I have I have given a brief idea about this cold working in the next part of annealing heat treatment process, that is recrystallization annealing heat treatment process. Recrystallization annealing heat treatment is done, obviously after, that is mandatory to use this recrystallization annealing process after cold working method. I think working, I should write it cold working. Cold working or cold forming, same thing, cold working or cold forming. And what is cold working? I have given a brief idea about cold working or cold forming. That is, due to cold working there is an increase in the number of dislocation in a metal compared to the pre-cold work condition. And cold working means obviously you have to give some or you have to increase the temperature by giving heat, and then you have to cool it. This is the cold working process, and this process is used for different kinds of different types of heat treatment in all the cases. And that's why this cold working, after this cold working process, this number of dislocations may be increased, and this is the main concern, that is reduced by the crystallization annealing. Yes, someone want to say something? Okay, okay, don't need to write your names and roll number here. I will take the attendance letter. Hmm. Okay, okay, and to decrease the effects of dislocation, we may use this crystallization annealing heat treatment method. And the uh, the effect of this crystallization annealing process, the new grains may form in the cold work metal to decrease the effects of dislocation means nothing but the uh, dislocation of the atoms in the metal, or displacement of the atoms in the metal from its original position, that is dislocation. And after crystallization annealing, new grains are formed to uh, fill the empty space due to this dislocation, and that's how recrystallization method helps to decrease the dislocation or this kind of uh, defects in the metal. Okay, and now sorry, now coming to the effects of crystallization annealing, that is final grain size depends on the annealing temperature. Annealing temperature means obviously the crystallization annealing temperature and annealing time. These are the main or the most important parameters which affects the result of recrystallization method. And here you can say that you can see that this effect, that is time, if time is constant, then temperature, with the temperature grain size increases. That means new grains which are formed after recrystallization method, the size of those grains are increased as the temperature increases. Or if the temperature is constant, the time of time with the time, as the time increases, the grain size will be increasing. Okay, and uh, the any other important point, that is okay, these are the important points regarding recrystallization. And mm, obviously control of annealing temperature at time, as we have already discussed, the two main parameters of recrystallization annealing, that is temperature and time. And heating rate and amount of cold working prior to the annealing, that means how much cold worked the metal is, that is the important factors to get the final result of grain size. And as the grain size is higher, the defects or the decrease of dislocation will be increased. That means the final desired result will be increased by increasing these parameters, that is annealing temperature, time or heating rate, or the cold work prior to that annealing process. This is all about recrystallization annealing heat treatment method. Next, coming to the precipitation or edge hardening of non-ferrous alloy. That means non-ferrous metals and non-ferrous alloys. Obviously we are here discussing about alloys, that's why I have written here alloy, but for non-ferrous metals we can use this precipitation or edge hardening. This is also one of the heat treatment process by which I may show you the effects of edge hardening or precipitation hardening, that is by which high tensile or high yield strength may be imparted to the metal, or wear resistance may be imparted to the metals, or malleability, the characteristics of malleability and machinability, both are same thing. There is a little difference between malleability and machinability, and these characteristics, property of machinability or malleability may be imparted to the metal. And distortion, to reduce the risk of distortion to the metal, these kinds of effects, these kinds of desired results may be imparted to this metal. Now coming to the uh, initial parts of precipitation, that is which kinds of metal, that is nickel, magnesium, titanium, aluminum, these kinds of non-ferrous metals or alloys of these metals. For the alloys of these metals, this precipitation or edge hardening method may be used. Okay. Now coming to the process of edge hardening, that is there are three steps, sequential steps, uh, by which total process of precipitation or edge hardening may be done. In the first step, this is a special case of heat treatment, that's why obviously the total process is different from the other heat treatment processes. And in the first step, you have to just make a solution of the metal with a higher temperature. That means all the solute atoms are dissolved into the solid solution to make a single phase system. And as the temperature is high, then a large number of solid atoms are solved into the solution. That's why there is a these kinds of microscopic nuclei, those are called zones. These type of zones are formed in the solution. And as increased temperature increases, the solution or the solubility of those solid atoms will also increase. And that's why in the next sorry and that's why this kind of solution in this kind of solution, the solubility, the number of solute atoms is greater than the limit of solubility, and that's why this kind of solution is called supersaturated solution. Okay. And as the temperature decreases rapidly, obviously as the temperature decreases, the solubility is also decreases. And as the result of this cooling, the solubility limit of that solution in the lower temperature will be very low, and in that case this supersaturated solid solution uh, wants to. Yes, anyone want to say something? Oh, okay. Don't need to write your names and roll number. I will take after this class. I'll take the attendance after this class. Okay. And what was the point? That is, this kind of supersaturated solution will form by this rapid cooling of the solution, and the solution wants to diffuse by the at the high temperature. That's why we have to reduce the temperature to prevent the diffusion. and and finally in the third step, you have to heat the solution at some intermediate temperature means obviously not that high that we have used in the first step, not that high, but we have to use some temper we have to heat that solution at some temperature which is intermediate of the cooled solution and the heated solution. Okay, and by heating the solution at some intermediate temperature, precipitation of that atoms occurred at that temperature, and by that we can uh, get the atoms or the metal back in the solution in some solid form. And that solid metal which we have got after heating at some intermediate temperature, that is actually age hardened or precipitation hardened metal. And by this age hardening or precipitation hardening, we can impart all this property, all this desired property into the metal. We have discussed about these points earlier. And mm, finally, the application of age hardening, that is, I have already said that aluminum, nickel, stainless steel, titanium, magnesium, these kinds of non-ferrous metals, or the alloys coming from these non-ferrous metals, can be strengthened by this method, or hardening of gate valves, engine parts, machinery parts, or turbine blades. Obviously all these are of some parts of some machineries, uh, aircraft parts. These kinds of all the machineries parts can be strengthened and hardened, and machinability may be imparted to the metal piece by these age hardening methods or the precipitation hardening methods.